Freddie Gonzalez's ball club won the opener of this 3-game series last night, 8-7. Blue Jays pounded out 5 home runs. The Braves hit big home runs in the 8th inning. Johnny Gomes with a pinch hit shot that broke the tie, and then Freddie Freeman with a capper. Let's take a look at their lineup. Cameron Maybin moves to the top of the order. Nick Markakis. Last night, Markakis went 4 for 4. He also had a walk. With those 4 hits, he has 175 career hits since he entered the league in 2006. That's the most for any player. Johnny Gomes, he too has hit well against the Blue Jays for his career. That home run he hit last night was his 12th career home run against the Jays. He also has driven in 34. They had a good night at the plate, scoring 8 runs on 12 hits.
It's a different type of offense that the Braves are featuring this year. R.A. Dickey gets ready for his 3rd start. Lost a tough one in his last one. 2 bases loaded walks in the 4th inning were the only runs he allowed to Tampa Bay as the Jays lost that game 2-1. They have now lost both of his starts by 1 run. The knuckleball has been pretty good so far this year.
Dickey left the ball game in New York, his first start, pitching pretty well. Let's take a look at the defense. It's Pilar, Pompey, and Bautista, the regular everyday lineup in the outfield. A little different look on the left side of the infield. Danny Valencia and Steve Collison starting because the left-handers on the mound. Travis Encarnacion on the right side, and Russell Martin continues to work with R.A. Dickey.
First starts for both of them on the left side. They're going to go straight platoon at shortstop while the Reyes situation settles out, and Danny Valencia will get his first start at 3rd base, pushing Josh Donaldson as the DH.
Dickey delivers a first pitch strike to Cameron Maybin. He's quickly ahead, 0-2. Maybin hit in the 9th spot in last night's game, and he went 0 for 3, and that's a pretty good pitch. He didn't get the call.
I'll tell you what, R.A. Dickey wants is a lot of swings early on. Make them go after that knuckleball.
There's a fly ball into center, not that deep. Pompey over to his left, 1 down. Well, R.A. Dickey, for his career, he's had some trouble with Atlanta. He is 2-6 in 14 games, 11 starts overall, and his ERA 5.48. They have hit him well. For any team that he has made at least 10 career starts against, the Braves have the highest opponent's batting average. This is Alberto Callaspo. He's a switch hitter, but he's choosing to bat right-handed against Dickey. We have seen this before. We saw it in New York.
Take away that window, if you will, from a right-handed knuckleballer. It just visually makes it a little bit tougher to get that ball in the strike zone with a knuckleball. Lefty, you got that whole outside part of the plate that you can deal with.
2 balls and a strike. Chase Headley and Mark Teixeira of the Yankees both hit right-handed against R.A. Dickey. Reaches for that one and fouls it out of play. It's now 2-2. That's a pretty good pitch. Dickey certainly wants those borderline pitches, and it's a tough pitch for hitters to hit, tough for the catchers. It's also challenging for the umpires. Markakis will be next. There's a liner to left. That's going to get down for a base hit. R.A. Dickey making his 2nd home start of the season, and his last 6 home starts have been pretty good.
He's kept the ball in the ballpark. He has thrown strikes for the most part. He's gotten his share of strikeouts, and with the roof closed, there's not a lot of wind here. I think this is a good surrounding for R.A., and the numbers certainly prove that. Pretty good whip at 1-1 with the knuckleball last time out. He just could not control it for that 1 inning.
This is Nick Markakis. He takes a strike. Markakis, we mentioned his 4 hits last night. He was on base all 5 times he came to the plate. He has 175 career hits against the Blue Jays. He came up with the Orioles in 2006. He's got more hits than anybody from the time he came to the big leagues against the Jays.
That's a very simple approach. Try to hit the ball back through the middle. All 4 of those hits were singles. Found the holes in last night's game.
R.A. Dickey, we mentioned his Cy Young year in 2012 for the Mets. He went 20-6 and threw 233 2/3 innings. He also led the league with 230 strikeouts. The biggest difference for Dickey during that Cy Young year was he really cut down on the walks.
That's right. When he came to Toronto, he had a career high walks in 2013 with 71, 74 more last year, 8 of them already this season. He has talked about changing speeds with the knuckleball, but really haven't seen it yet in his first couple of starts. Everything's been very firm out of his hand this year with that knuckleball.
Markakis takes the walk, first walk of the afternoon. Freddie Freeman, they only had 1 hit last night, but boy, it was a big one. It came in the 8th.
This one really broke open the ball game. It's a fastball, middle in and a little up. And Freeman sent it out of here for his 3rd home run, a big 2-run home run that really helped after the Blue Jays scored 2 runs in their bottom half of the inning.
Freeman's had a lot of success against R.A. Dickey's 10 for 21. That's a .476 average with 2 homers. You would think a big power hitter like Freeman might not have that much success against Dickey.
But he's not a free swinger. And that's the problem that the Blue Jays are going to run into this afternoon, is the Braves are not the free swinging team that they were last season. They had so many strikeouts last year. I think they were 29th in baseball with the most strikeouts. This year it's done much better. They've moved up in the rankings. Fewer strikeouts.
There's a strike. That's now 3-1. We mentioned Dickey had 5 walks in his start last time out. 3 in his first start of the season against the Yankees. 3-1 to Freeman. The appeal down to Joe West, and Country Joe said no swing, so it's back-to-back walks. Markakis and Freeman had back-to-back walks in the game last night against Drew Hutchison, but Hutch was able to strike out Chris Johnson to end the first. So now the bases are loaded with just 1 out, and here is Chris Johnson. First pitch strike. Boy, if there was ever time for a double play, it's now. For his career, Johnson has hit 2 grand slams. There's a fly ball deep to right. That'll score a run. Maben back to tag at third. He's going to move up. Markakis does the same, and he moves to third. And the Braves have taken a 1-0 lead.
Taking advantage once again of walks early on. Setting up a runner at third base, less than 2 outs. Johnson, you can see he checked his swing. He really let that ball travel. He didn't want to overcommit too soon, and sent that ball to right field for the game's first run.
So now there are runners at the corners. Markakis alertly tagged up. Anytime you've got a knuckleballer on the mound, you want to get to third base with the possibility of a wild pitch pass ball. This is the veteran A.J. Pierzynski. A.J. last night went 1 for 5. He had an RBI in the game.
John Gibbons has talked about the unpredictability of that knuckleball. You're just not sure. R.A. has said, when it leaves my hand, it feels like a strike. But right now, he's got to make the adjustment. Everything has been up, and to the left, he's up and away.
It's really got to be frustrating for Dickey, who works very hard on trying to command that knuckleball. Just trying to find which one will be consistent for it. That's going to be a foul.
You know, the predicament I think he finds himself into sometimes is when he is in a count where he has fallen behind to throw the fastball. Do you have enough confidence in your fastball, or do you go with the pitch that's gotten here, the knuckleball? I mean, that's the problem I think that you find.
Pierzynski fouls it off. Now it's a 2-2 count.
One thing that I think he can do with that knuckleball is maybe take something off. Remember last year, about the middle of the year, he started really throwing a 65-mile-an-hour knuckleball, really messing with the timing of the hitter. That is something I think that he can do.
Upstairs. I tell you what, I know it's only 3 games, but Russell Martin has handled him well. And because those walks are high, obviously it suggests the ball's really moving, but Martin hasn't had any problems at all. Full count, 2 outs. There goes a runner from first. This is poked toward the seats, and it'll reach.
69 miles an hour on the knuckleball. That's what he can do with it. Really throws the timing of a hitter off, and Pierzynski was just lucky to get a piece of that one.
Through 11 games, the team pitching numbers aren't that good. 12th in earned runs. Starters ERA is 10th. The walks and home runs are the most in the American League. Pierzynski protecting again. Boy, that swing just really suggests if I had confidence in my fastball, I'd bust him inside right now.
And that's the predicament that I was just talking about. Do you feel confident enough to throw that fastball and try and freeze Pierzynski, a noted fastball hitter?
There goes Freeman from first, and it's fouled off back to the screen. Quite a battle going on between 2 veterans. R.A. Dickey is 40. A.J. Pierzynski's in his 18th season as a big leaguer. Wow. And it will continue.
9 pitches so far in this at bat. 31 for the inning for R.A.
And it's a 50-50 ratio right now. 31 pitches. Boy, that's a big number in the first inning. He wins that battle as Pierzynski strikes out. The Braves score a run, but they leave 2. R.A. Dickey minimizing the damage in the first. Hits and hit 5 home runs, but they came up a run short. John Gibbons is hopeful they can be a little more productive and effective this afternoon. Devin Travis had a good day in his first go-round leading off. He went 2 for 5 in the game. Josh Donaldson has been swinging a hot bat. Over his last 9 games, he's hit .371. Those 2 home runs came in last night's game. And then down in the 7th spot, Russell Martin. Last night, his 9th career 2-homer game, his first 2 home runs as a Blue Jay. And he snapped a long skid.
Yeah, that's a good sign. Alex Wood will get the start this afternoon for the Braves. He was their 2nd-round draft pick in 2012 out of the University of Georgia. He was in the big leagues the following season. In fact, he made his big league debut versus the Jays on May the 30th with a scoreless inning of relief. He won 11 games last year for Atlanta, and we counted on to carry the load this year.
He jumps ahead of Devin Travis with the first pitch fastball. Travis has gotten off to a good start. .375 average. Alex Wood will throw that fastball. It'll be lower 90s. It won't be much harder than 92, 93, but he's tough to pick up.
Yeah, lots of deception in that windup and delivery.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Backhanded and thrown out. Callaspo made a good play. He was at third last night. Defensively, a couple of changes for the Braves. Johnny Gomes is in left field to start this game. Maven and Kelly Johnson, the former Blue Jay, is in right. Chris Johnson starts at third. Simmons and Callaspo up the middle. Freddie Freeman's the first baseman. A.J. Przinsky, the veteran, teams up with Alex Wood.
It's a treat to watch the shortstop for the Atlanta Braves play. That's Andrelton Simmons, Gold Glove winner among NL shortstops the last 2 seasons, including the Platinum Gold winner in 2013. That is the top fielder in their respective league. He won that in 2013 for the Braves.
This is Josh Donaldson. Donaldson, big night last night. He had 2 home runs, and the impressive aspect, both of his home runs went to the right side of second base.
That's right. He stayed in the big part of the ballpark.
There's a base hit up the middle. Stay hot, Josh. Alex Wood is 24 years old. As Pat mentioned, he was drafted in the 2nd round by the Braves.
And there are the numbers. This is what you're going to get from him. The fastball, the curveball, and the changeup. He's a power pitcher. He'll come right after. That fastball can get 95, 96 mile an hour. He can locate that fastball well. And then the curveball, I think, is a very good pitch for him because he's got that funky delivery and a changeup at 82 miles an hour. He only throws about 10% of the time. But comes right after you, throw strikes, and you got to get to him early. He has had his problems this season so far in his first 2 starts in the first inning.
Last time out, he struggled and threw 31 pitches against the Mets, and Michael Kadire hit a 2-run home run in the first. Wood was matched up against Bartolo Colon, who just keeps on rolling. Bartolo won his 3rd game last night.
Amazing.
Wonder where his fountain of youth is. He is pitching well. He even had an RBI against Wood in that ball game.
Yeah, that was described by Wood as he swung hard and actually accidentally hit the ball. It found a hole into the outfield, looped it into the outfield.
The infield was drawn in, and it was the first RBI for Colon in 10 years.
His 6th career RBI snapped an 0 for 37 slump for Bartolo.
Speed pitch. That has to be a real challenge with all those moving parts in Wood's delivery.
Yeah, you got to really concentrate on the baseball. Don't look at the leg or the glove or the arm. Just try and pick out that ball somewhere above his left shoulder. Concentrate on that.
Off the plate. The Blue Jays saw Wood in spring training. He pitched 6 innings against him, gave up 7 hits, including a Bautista 2-run double. So Jose saw him not that long ago. Overall, they scored 3 runs against Wood. Bouncing ball to third. Johnson takes it. Second for 1. Back to first. Double play. So Donaldson's erased on the 5-4-3 double play. Through an inning, Atlanta has a 1-0 lead.
on Sports. Presented by the 2015 Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
Alberto Callaspo getting attention from Jeff Porter, the trainer. And we have seen infielders have problems with the rubber granulars on this artificial surface. We saw Asdrubal Cabrera of the Rays get something in his eye, and might be the same for Callaspo. This is Johnny Gomes. Came off the bench and big home run off Brett Cecil last night. His 10th pinch hit home run. He leads all active players in that department.
And here is one of them right here, Buck. He's had good numbers against Brett Cecil in a tie ball game. He said he was looking for that breaking ball. He got it and smoked it out of the ballpark. That put the Braves ahead, and then the 2-run home run that we saw from Freeman gave him a 3-run lead.
Johnny Gomes trying to plead his case that he foul-tipped the ball. Turned to the umpire and move out of the batter's box, and Bruce Dreckman said, nope. That was a clean swing and a miss, Johnny, and you are out.
Knuckleball, watch the movement right at the end, and clearly on the replay, Johnny missed that one. Johnny was not on the spot as he swings over that one.
Back-to-back strikeouts for R.A. Dickey. Kelly Johnson goes after the first pitch. Kelly, he has been around. He originally was the #1 pick of the Braves in 2000. Spent a couple of years with the Blue Jays. 2011, 2012. Overall, this is his second stint with the Braves. He has spent 5 years in Atlanta. For the Blue Jays, he played in 175 games, hit .233, had 19 homers, and drove in 64 runs.
He's got some pop. Likes to turn on a lot of pitches, pull them to right field.
Pulls this one to right. Bautista got a good break. The ball was sinking, but he stays with it to make the grab. Good play by Bautista. Kelly Johnson might have had some topspin on that ball, and by the time it got out there to right, it was sinking.
You've heard that saying in baseball, I hit it like you threw it. Well, I think this is true. Knuckleball comes in. It looked like a knuckleball maybe going out. Bautista stayed right with that one. Picks up some of those granulars, but makes the play for the second out.
Shoodown. Andrelton Simmons drops into the 9th position today. Simmons had a 2-hit game last night, drove in a pair of runs. Had a 2-run double in the 5th inning. Bunts this ball. Dickey's a good fielder. Boy, that ball died, but what a play by R.A. Dickey. He won a Gold Glove in 2013, and that's why. That ball nearly came to a stop on this new turf. Dickey stayed with it, never gave up, and watched the throw. He unloads in a hurry right on the money to end the inning.
Fans, if your baseball experience is like mine, it includes a number of snacks. So try the Grand Slam Combo. Thursday, April 23rd, the Blue Jays against the Orioles, 7:07 p.m. The combo includes a ticket to the game, a hot dog, nachos, popcorn, peanuts, an apple, and a soft drink. Tickets start at $45. Go to BlueJays.com for more, and you do not have to share any of this with Buck Martinez.
Oh, come on, Barry. I share with you.
Okay, maybe just a bit.
Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin. Pair of home runs already this April. He hit 2 the entire month of April last year. Sounded like it broke his bat. Simmons will have to wait on it. Takes his time and throws him out.
There's the sneakiness of the fastball right there, getting into a guy who can handle the fastball, looks for it. But Wood was able to get in the kitchen of Edwin.
This is Danny Valencia getting the start at third base. Valencia had a good spring. He was really working hard to hit the ball the other way. For the season, you can see he's 333 average, but during the spring he had 357. Hit 3 homers and drove in 9.
He's making a name for himself that he can hit left-handed pitching. But you know, as a big leaguer, you don't want that label that the only guy you can hit is a left-hander. Danny can play different positions. Today he's at third base. He's made a start over at first base. We've seen him in the outfield so far this year, and when he does get that left-hander on the mound, he's very aggressive.
Hits this ball and crosses up the shift. That was part of Valencia's approach in the spring, to use the whole field even against a lefty pitcher. Second hit of the afternoon for the Blue Jays.
If they're going to play at a pole and then pitch you outside, you'd be crazy to try and pull this ball. Fastball outside corner. Valencia stays right with it. You can see the second baseman Cayespo right behind the pitcher. Huge hole on the right side. Takes advantage of it.
So Valencia's aboard. Russell Martin has 3 hits for the season, 2 homers. They came in last night's game. We saw Martin working hard a couple days ago in early batting practice, and all he was doing was trying to hit the ball to right.
Yeah, it was a drill where you stand on the side and you throw the ball to the back hip of the hitter. So he has to stay behind it, and he's got to let that ball travel, and it helps him to shoot the ball to right field.
Pops this one up on the infield. Cayespo, the second baseman, calls for it. Martin's retired. Second out of the inning. When the Braves drafted Alex Wood out of the University of Georgia, one of their longtime scouts, Paul Snyder, told the organization, when we take this guy, don't mess with him. It works for him. And if you see his delivery, you might think, oh, looks like he's going to get hurt. We better straighten him out. But Snyder was emphatic to the development group, leave him alone. It doesn't look pretty, but it works.
But what does he do correctly? Right when he's ready to deliver the ball, his hand's on top of the ball and it's out in front. It's like a hitter, like we were talking about before the game. I don't care what a hitter looks like standing at the plate and all his pre-work and everything like that. When he's ready to swing the bat, he better have the bat in the launching position. And Alex Wood has the ball in the launching position when he's ready. This is an ISO here. Watch all the arms and legs, the long arm swing, but look at the ball right before he lets it go. It's right in the slot where it should be.
Upstairs, 1-2, 2 outs. Kevin Pillar. Pillar has 12 hits in 11 games coming into this game. A home run and 4 ribbies. Wood had Tommy John surgery in 2009 and missed the entire 2010 season in college. And he came back and worked on that delivery, but no matter what you say about how he starts, and you made a great point, Pat, when that front foot hits the ground, his arm is right on time.
Yeah, it's up, and his hand is behind the ball. It's not on the side. It's not underneath it.
There goes Valencia. The throw from Pierzynski is high into center. Valencia steals a base, his first of the season. Pierzynski caught flat-footed, tried to throw it flat-footed, and airmailed the second baseman.
Blue Jays will time the delivery and how long it takes for a pitcher when he starts his motion like that, and how long it takes to get to the catcher. And if you can read them, you can go on first move, and I think that's exactly what Valencia does. He stole that one on Alex Wood. He got himself into scoring position.
Pilar hammers it to center. Maben got a late break, but he's able to recover and makes the grab. Looked like he had a little trouble picking it up off the bat, but he's got the speed to run it down. For the Blue Jays, Dickey and Burley, the veterans, and then you have the three youngsters. Dickey's off to a good start, 219 earned run average, and then Mark Burley. The kids have had a little bit of a slow start. Daniel Norris, respectable at 422. Aaron Sanchez and Drew Hutchison, they've had a couple of rough outings, and because of that, their ERA somewhat inflated early on.
Add it all together, it's a 476 starters earned run average. The major league average for starters earned run average is 4.01. A couple of hiccups early on for some of the young kids, but the veterans, once again, just like last year, leading this pitching staff.
Cameron Maben chases that high knuckler. It's 0-2. Maben flew out to center his first time up. There's another good knuckler. Big strikeout. That's 3 now for Dickey. Lots of late movement on that high knuckleball.
And he's getting it in the zone. When you do that, tough to square it up. Cameron Maben with that big swing as Dickey's knuckleball. Look at that thing moving. That almost looked like a slider the way it started out and finished away from the right-handed batter.
One down in the third. Starting to feel it now. This is Alberto Callaspo. He had a base hit to left field and scored the only run of this game. All right, pace is quickening. Look how quickly Dickey wants to throw it.
Get it and throw it. Lots of confidence right now the way he's throwing. You see Russell Martin behind the plate go down to one knee. I asked him about that. He says it really frees up my hand in case that knuckleball starts darting into the right-handers. His leg was actually getting in his way.
Yeah.
When he was getting handcuffed, or if the ball started moving in towards the righties, the leg was getting in the way. So I said, I'm just going to drop it down. That frees my hand up.
Back-to-back strikeouts. 4 for Dickey now.
Russell handled that one easily. Good knuckleball. No movement, and it's up, and you can see him in that position, just free as a bird to catch it.
There are 2 outs now. Nick Markakis, he's been on 6 straight times since he arrived here at Rogers Center. 2 walks and 4 hits. Markakis spent 9 years with the Orioles and wanted to stay put. He was a free agent. The Orioles just never made a real significant push to get him. Does that surprise you?
Oh, sure, it certainly does. First round draft pick. How many years was he there? 9 years with the Orioles. But Atlanta stepped up right out of the chute. 4-year contract. Made his decision easy.
1-2 upstairs. Blue Jays had some interest. They have seen a lot of him, and of course they understand how much success Markakis has had in this ballpark. And he certainly fits the profile of the type of player they brought in.
Gamer. Guy who comes to play every single day.
2-2. I don't blame Dickey for bouncing off the mound. That looked like a good pitch, but Russell really had trouble as that movement was late and quick.
See how it freed up his hand, though, to get that leg out of the way?
And Markakis will walk. Second time he's walked today.
The 2015 Honda CR-V is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
Freddie Freeman cuts on the first pitch and pulls it foul. The Braves had 5 walks in the game last night. They've got 3 already this afternoon. And that was one of the goals of the front office when they turned over the roster. They wanted to have better at bats. There's a deep drive to right center, and Bautista will watch this one sail off the facade of the second deck. Freddie Freeman, another 2-run home run, his 4th of the season.
You know, when he first came up and you would watch him, you say, okay, yeah, he can hit the ball the other way, and he's got a good eye at the plate. Is he going to hit for power? Well, this year, looks like he is a little bit more aggressive. And when he gets his pitch, he takes a healthy cut at it. This is home run number 4 already this season for Freeman. Goes right after it, low ball. Golfs it out of here.
He is now 11 for 22 against Dickey with 3 home runs. So Freddie Freeman has the perfect swing to match up against Dickey. Chris Johnson hits it to second. That ends the inning. Ari Dickey wants to talk to the home plate umpire about that pitch to Markakis just before he walked him. Bruce Dreckman said, I was hanging with you, R.A., but it was outside.
made thanks to Freddie Freeman's 2-run shot. And if Freeman looks comfortable here at the Rogers Center, that's because he is very close to a second home here. Both his parents are from Ontario. His mom was born in Toronto, dad was born in Windsor. He was raised in California. He's always said he wants to play for Team Canada, hopefully at the 2017 World Baseball Classic, where he'll dedicate it to his mother. His mom passed away when he was just 10 years old from melanoma, and what he has done since he's been a major league player is use the platform to spread awareness for skin cancer. Freddie Freeman says that even during spring training when it's hot, he always wears long sleeves, always makes sure he has lots of sunscreen on, and he really wants to spread the word for people, especially those who are outdoors all the time, to get protection and get some screening whenever you can. Buck?
Freddie Freeman's just 25 years old. He's a very grounded young man, and always interesting to talk to. Steve Tollison hits it past Callaspo. He really got handcuffed on that short hopper. Second baseman tried to get an angle on that sharply hit ball, but it handcuffed him and went into center.
Yeah, didn't want to get in front of this one. You can play it off to the side because you're a little bit quicker. You can track the ball a little bit better, but it stays down. On this turf, we're not real sure how that ball's going to bounce off the turf. It stayed down, and it's a base hit.
Both Valencia and Tollison inserted into the lineup because of the lefty pitcher, and they've responded with hits. Pompey pushes it up the first baseline, but foul.
Dalton said that he was going to do that a little bit more this year, bunting, so he worked at it in spring training. He worked every day on the backfield, pushing the ball to the right side, dropping it down the third base side. He's trying to incorporate a little something different in his game.
Pompey in the ninth spot, quick snap throw, and Tollison's back in ahead of the tag. Pompey, a switch hitter. He's got speed. It's nice to have speed bottom part of your order with Tollison and Pompey. 1-1. Atlanta with a 3-0 lead. Alex Wood made his first start of the season at Miami against the Marlins, and his teammates scored 7 runs in the top of the first, 6 of them off Matt Latos. And they hammered Latos, and again his teammates have given him an early lead.
What does that do to you in the first inning when you go out and warm up and then you come in and you sit around for a long period of time?
It can cause you some issues with your command, but I don't think there's a pitcher in the world that would complain about a 7th spot before they take the mound.
I'll just keep sitting there as long as you keep scoring runs for me.
2-1 to Pompey. Long fly ball to left field. Johnny Gomes on the run in foul ground and missed it. He knew he was running out of room. Went into a slide and reached for it and just missed it. Tough play down there. That ball juts out very quickly, as Gomes has played here a lot. He understands the challenges of those fly balls down the left field line.
Yeah, he has played in this ballpark in the past. He knows where that wall is, so he's going to go into a slide to protect him just a little bit. The knees take the brunt of that hit against that padding. And you're right, just off of his glove. Another shot for Dalton.
This is his 44th game for Gomes in this ballpark. 2-2. We're in the bottom of the third. Blue Jays need to get things turned around here at Rogers Center. Just 1-4 on this homestand.
With all the right-handed power that they have in their lineup, last year they were only a game over 500 against left-handed starters, which is a little surprising. They have faced one lefty this year already. This is the second one, so this should be a good matchup for Toronto.
3-2. Tollison holding at first. Well, just think about the quality left-handers they had to deal with last year. You had John Lester and David Price, and they're just good left-handers. And if you're a left-handed starter in big leagues, you got pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
And you think about over the National, you got Clayton Kershaw, and this young guy here, Alex Wood's going to be pretty tough as well.
Chris Sale. We saw Chris Sale last year with Chicago White Sox. He's pretty good.
You saw Travis on deck in the leadoff spot, 3-2, not running again. Pompey stays alive. The Orioles will be here on Tuesday night to finish up this homestand. It'll be a 10-game homestand when it's all said and done. Going to throw over to first here. Every time I see that thumb go up in the air, I get a little jumpy. Because that used to be the knockdown sign.
Oh. Not the throw over.
Not the throw over. Yeah, that's flip the batter. That's what they used to see. Flip the batter.
Not a big lead over there for Tollison.
As a drive into center, Maben was shaded in that direction, and he runs it down. So Tollison at first, one out. Devin Travis, he was the leadoff man last night for the first time in his career, and he made it a special at bat.
Fastball right down the middle, and it was special because he homered. Homers to lead off the ball game for the Blue Jays, 1 of 5. That's a good piece of hitting right there. Again, staying in the big part of the ballpark. 12 RBIs now for Devin. That's number 1 in the American League.
He's leading the league in RBIs. That's never a bad thing. I don't care when it is in the season. He's got 1 more than Sal Perez, Lorenzo Cain, Adam Jones, and A-Rod. Well, Kansas City's playing well at the start of the season. 8-2. Not as well as the Tigers, though.
How about the Tigers? I think they've won something like 6 games when they have scored 3 or fewer runs. They're getting the pitching. Keep talking about their hitting. Their pitching's been outstanding.
It all boils down to pitching. No matter how you slice it, you can have the best offensive team in the world, but if you can't pitch, you're not going to win.
Isn't that the truth? You pitch, you give yourself a chance to win.
The last 3 wins for the Tigers, 2-0, 1-0, 2-1. Travis can handle that outer half of the plate. He stays on it, not really too anxious to pull it.
And the ball that's up, too. We have seen him stay on top of that high fastball like the one he just got right there and drive that ball to right field.
Wouldn't chase that breaking ball away. Nice play by Wood. Simmons at short stumbled over the bag, but he's got enough arm to throw out Devin Travis. A 1-6-3 double play. The Braves have turned 2 double plays so far in this game. Simmons gets tangled up at second as he stumbles over the bag, but still throws out Travis.
Jays on Sports. Presented by the 2015 Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
Why not a Donaldson and Martin jersey? They both went deep twice last night, so they're flying off the shelves here at Rogers Center. A.J. Pierzynski hammers it to right and over the wall. He sneaks one over the wall in right. He's been swinging the bat well. That's his third home run of the season, second of the game for Atlanta.
He goes up there looking for that first pitch, and if it's close, he's going to attack it. He's been doing it for a long time in the big league. That was a line drive that just kept carrying to right field. Ball starting to carry here at Rogers Center. A.J. Pierzynski gets the bat head out on this knuckleball, tumbles right into his swing plane for the home run.
Second career home run for Pierzynski against R.A. Dickey. And how about these additions to this Braves roster? Johnny Gomes, A.J. Pierzynski, Nick Markakis. They've all had big contributions so far in this series.
Big contributions, and you know what? They play the game the right way. They come to play every single day.
There's a high fly ball to left. Pilar back in a hurry at the wall and makes the catch. Johnny Gomes pushing Pilar to the wall and left.
Time that knuckleball was just up, and Gomes just missed it.
Kelly Johnson now. Johnson's hitting 8th in this lineup today. This is popped into shallow left. Pilar calls for it. 2 down. We mentioned R.A. Dickey was a #1 pick. He was picked first by the Texas Rangers in '96. He also pitched on the U.S. Olympic team that year. And you talk about a roster of pitchers. Dickey, Chris Benson, Billy Koch, Jeff Weaver, Braden Looper, Seth Greisinger, Randy Wolf, and Jim Parquet. That's pretty good pitching staff.
That's very good staff for the Olympics. 2 of them are still pitching, and they're both on the Blue Jays organization. How about that?
Randy Wolf is in Buffalo with the Blue Jays, and of course R.A. Dickey's right here. Anderson Simmons takes it upstairs. It's 2 balls and a strike. The position players on that '96 team included J.D. Drew, Mark Kotze, A.J. Hinch, Jock Jones, and Travis Lee. This is popped up. Russell Martin cast the mask aside. Another home run. A.J. Pierzynski has given the Braves a 4-0 lead, but Josh Donaldson, he went deep twice last night. He'll lead things off when he comes back. He already has a single this afternoon.
Major League Baseball. Listen to live audio, follow games pitch by pitch, and enjoy in-game video highlights. The app is available on the iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Android, and BlackBerry. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. And look at the app today. Tells me the White Sox just put up a 4 spot on Anibal Sanchez and the Detroit Tigers.
Well, we had been talking about how the Tigers have done such a good job of pitching, and the White Sox have spoiled that little streak.
They're going to have to get some hitting today, but they're in tough. Chris Sale's on the mound for the White Sox.
Josh Donaldson got a base hit in his first at bat, erased on a double play. Alex Wood working quickly, and it just really looks out of sorts. That delivery looks like it's going to be all over the place, but boy, when he comes and lands that front foot, he's in a good spot to deliver strikes.
Keeps the ball down too. That's one thing that I've noticed from him. Keeps the ball down. Look at all those pitches to Josh Donaldson, just under his knees.
Elevates one, and Donaldson swings right through it. It's a full count. Jose Bautista will follow. Blue Jays hit 5 home runs in the game last night, but lost. When they hit 5 or more home runs, they now have a record of 41-4. Last night was an exception. First walk of the ball game issued to Donaldson. The Braves really did a good job of turning over their roster, and they've got a foundation of young pitchers to build on. And look at, they're all 24 years old.
Wood they drafted, Tehran they signed, and they traded for Shelby Miller, who we will see tomorrow afternoon, just 24 years old. Note those earned run averages and where they are. Pretty good. Good whips. They can command their pitches. They don't walk too many batters. They pound that strike zone, and that has been the staple of the Atlanta Braves, hasn't it? For about, what, the last 25 years?
Yeah. It's since you can say Glavine, Smoltz, and Maddox. They got 3 of them in the Hall of Fame.
That's the influence of John Sherholtz. I mean, he started with the Baltimore Orioles when the Orioles were fantastic in the 60s. Took his GM to Kansas City, and they always had great pitching, the Royals, through the 80s, and then to Atlanta. 4 good starters and a good shortstop. It's a good place to start building a team, isn't it?
And Sherholtz averaged 10 new faces on each of his ball clubs in Atlanta. Opening day rosters had 10 new players every year. That was the average, and he turned things over. You got to have a core of players that are consistent, and certainly that pitching staff was always part of that core. But Sherholtz always brought in new talent, and recently they had gotten away from their farm system. So they beefed it up once again. Bautista pops it up a mile high. Simmons, the shortstop, is there and makes the catch.
You know, on that note about the farm system, before this winter, before John Hart took over, they were in the bottom 10 in farm director, players in their farm system. After all the trades that they have made, they're now in the top 10 in prospects within their farm system. And you're right, that was always what the Atlanta Braves were about. Players every year.
And Sherholtz brought in John Hart, who had a terrific background of developing homegrown talent with Cleveland and Texas. And when Encarnacion takes the first pitch strike. Mentioned Wood in his last start, struggled in the first inning, but boy, he settled down after that. Bouncing ball, big hop to Simmons, second for 1, routine. That's 3 double plays already, turned behind Alex Wood. The Braves have a 4-0 lead as we head to the 5th. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn.
McDavid sweepstakes. That is the NHL draft lottery tonight as the future awaits. Find out who will get the honor of picking number 1 overall. Check out the draft live on Hockey Night in Canada tonight at 7:30 Eastern on CBC. Leaf fans are waiting and hoping that the ping pong balls fall in their favor. But
obviously it's a big day for a lot of those hockey franchises. They're waiting for that draft lottery to see who's going to end up with the number 1 pick, and Connor McDavid certainly. Everybody says he's a franchise changer, a player that comes along in a decade, so I know Leaf fans are keeping their fingers crossed. This is Cameron Maben. He has gone 0 for 2.
Another thing that the Braves have done is they're not up there hacking away, and they're not hacking on that first pitch. Last year they were second from the bottom last year swinging at that first pitch. This year, third from the top, so they will try and work the count. Cameron Maben thought he was working the count, but he is punched out. It's five strikeouts now for R.A. Dickey.
Make a grand entrance during the DIY Expert Sale, only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Alberto Callaspo has a base hit and a strikeout. Again, Dickey, this is the way he started the 3rd inning, throwing strike after strike. Callaspo struck out in the 3rd inning, and he does it again here in the 5th. Top of the order, 4 strikeouts for Maben and Callaspo. Dickey now has 6.
Already got those first 2 called high strikes, and now that just makes that hitter, forces him to swing at it. Callaspo comes up empty.
This is exactly where Dickey was in the 3rd inning, 2 outs, nobody on, when he walked Markakis.
He got ahead of Markakis then, and it looked like he was trying to finish him off. And he ended up walking him. Reached back for a little bit harder knuckleball to try and finish him off. Missed his spots, walked Markakis, and then gave up the home run to Freeman.
Dickey has had a conversation with Bruce Dreckman. That came at the end of the 3rd inning. And those pitches are close.
Yeah, he's been very consistent. The home plate umpire on those low strikes this afternoon. He hasn't called them.
The fastball?
Looked like it.
Stuck that one in there. There is Freeman, and he has worn out R.A. Dickey. And Markakis will walk again. Same scenario we saw in the third. That's when Freeman hit a 2-run home run. His third career home run against Dickey. We mentioned the Braves have always been a problem for R.A. even while he was in the National League with the Mets. Coming into this game, he had a career 2-6 record. He made 11 starts prior to this one. The Braves, as a team, hitting .287 against Dickey coming into this game.
And you got to pitch to him. I mean, you can't really pitch around him. You got to pitch to him. You got to be very careful with him. But with 2 outs, you have to try and finish off this inning.
Markakis, with 3 walks this afternoon, has reached 8 straight times since coming to Toronto. He had 4 hits and a walk in last night's game. 3 walks today. On the ground. Travis takes his time, and Dickey retires Freeman. Blue Jays trail by 4. Danny Valencia will start things off. Then Russell Martin, who had a big night last night, his first 2-homer game of his Blue Jay career, starting to show signs of breaking out.
At the Rogers Center for Junior Jays Saturday. If you missed this one, the next Junior Jays Saturday presented by Boston Pizza will be Saturday, May the 9th, when the Blue Jays host the Boston Red Sox at 107. Special price kids tickets in the 200 and 500 level outfield seats. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. Go to BlueJays.com for more. And this little guy may even run the bases. Buck.
It's a great day for the kids, Barry, and Blue Jays do a good job of incorporating them. They are introduced on the foul line prior to the game with their favorite player. Danny Valencia pushes one all the way to the wall in center. He's headed for second. He will stop there. Valencia is 2 for 2. It's his first double of the season. When you don't get much playing time, you got to be ready when they call your name.
Yeah, and it's hard. Second start of the season for Danny, and he is making the most of it. You got to be ready, I think, to swing at the first strike, and that's what he does against Alex Wood. Fastball, down low, right over the heart of the plate. Starts the 5th inning with an extra base hit. That's so hard to do. You know, when you play here and there, you got to stay sharp. You got to take as much BP as possible. Take a lot of ground balls to keep your game.
Danny Valencia's only other start came on April 9th against CC Sabathia in New York. He played first base that night, got a base hit in his first at bat, and finished up 2 for 3 in that game. Russell Martin takes ball 2 in the dirt. The one thing that's good about the Blue Jays lineup is they don't need to be in a particular area of their lineup to have a big inning. They've got balance up and down the order. Russell Martin hitting in the 6th spot, certainly capable of contributing to a big inning.
Yeah, they got to start using the whole field just a little bit more and continue that good
up the middle, and Valencia wasn't sure. Russell Martin is out at first. Valencia thought maybe the pitcher might field it, and he did the right thing. He was in no man's land, and it went back to the pitcher. He's disappointed because he didn't move up, but the ball went right to Wood, and he swiped at it.
What is the first thing you do if you're the runner at second base? Make sure that clears the pitcher. And that small hesitation right there, just a little hesitation, froze him. The last thing you want to do being down by 4 runs is get thrown out at third base with nobody out. And then once it cleared the pitcher, Calespo's momentum was going to third. If he tried to move up on that one, he would have been thrown out at third. You're in scoring position. It's okay.
Kevin Pillar, 0 for 1.
I think second base is the hardest base to run depending on the situation. You've been at second base when there's a long fly ball to the outfield. You're not sure if you should tag or if you should go halfway. You might not score if they drop it. If you're at second base and they're trying to sacrifice you over there, you want to get a good jump. They bunt through it, you can get picked off. I mean, there's so many different hard things. How about if you're at second base and there's a ground ball, 1 hopper to the first baseman? You don't want to run into an out at third base. It's a tough base to run.
Yeah, there are some very good throwing first basemen. They get that 1 hopper, they'll come across the diamond. Ball and a strike, 1 out. I think that's the one thing about baseball that makes it such a beautiful game is every situation is different depending on who the first baseman is. I mean, you just can't say, hey, when you hit it to the first baseman, you're supposed to end up at third. Nope. Well, if it's Don Mattingly or Keith Hernandez, somebody with a strong arm, making a 1 hopper, they might come at the third.
You know, Robbie Alomar used to do that at second base. Even though he was the second baseman, if there was a firmly hit ball, he would go and attack it and try and get that runner at third base. So running at second base, that's tough. It's tough. There's a lot of situations. And again, I'll reiterate, you're down by 4 runs. If Wood comes up with that and Valencia takes off, he's an easy out at third base. I'd rather be safe than sorry being down by 4 runs.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Pillar. Now it's a full count. Steve Tallison waits on deck. He has a base hit already. Valencia and Tallison inserted into the lineup because of the left-hander Alex Wood, and so far they're 3 for 3. Ball 4. Second walk issued by Alex Wood. Tallison ripped a single to center his first time up.
Blue Jays have had their share of base runners. Alex Wood's just made pitches. How many double plays have they knocked into today?
3.
3 of them.
First time Atlanta's turned 3 double plays in a game this season. Tallison, maybe it's 4, 6, 3. 4 double plays turned by the Braves. Ball right on the ground to the second baseman. Will go to the 6th, and here comes the Home Hardware cleanup crew, brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products.
Analysis and schedule. Visit sportsnet.ca/Blue Jays or join the conversation at Sportsnet. Having a look now, Shai Davidi has a very interesting story with the Blue Jays giving their Stanley Cup playoff predictions. And Buck, a lot of Montreal Canadian fans on the Toronto Maple Leafs, including Liam Hendricks, whose wife is from Quebec City.
There are a lot of Canadian fans on the TV crew, too. I want to make note of that. Should be a great Stanley Cup playoffs, and we'll have a lot of it for you right here on Sportsnet. There's a bouncing ball. Donaldson takes his time. Johnson's retired, 1 out. Blue Jays have been hurt by the double play today. The Braves have turned 4 double plays. That ties the most double plays in a game this season. It's happened 4 times now. The Padres, Giants, Rangers, and now the Braves have all turned 4 double plays in a game.
Walks and home runs when they're on defense, and the ground ball double play when they're on offense.
That's a bad combination.
Bad combination.
Pierzynski hit a home run his last time up. Dickey's ahead 0-2. Foul tip. Russell Martin couldn't hang on to it. Another ball sliced into the seats.
The harder he throws that knuckleball, the softer the swing is from A.J. Pierzynski. Just trying to make contact.
He makes contact on that one, but flies out to the center fielder. We talk about double plays. Here's a look at all 4 of them.
Again, they're getting runners on base, the Blue Jays, but that inner defense by the Atlanta Braves wiping out any threat that the Blue Jays have offensively. This is Simmons and Callaspo. That's against Encarnacion. And then this one right here to end last inning. Callaspo over to Simmons, the Gold Glover. That will really deflate you if you're an offensive team.
Freddie Gonzalez, the manager, knows he's got a good defensive ball club. They've committed just 1 error this season. Last year, they only committed 85 all year long. Defense has been a real strong suit for the Braves.
1 error. That error was by Callaspo. That's it.
Nice play by Dickey. The Braves are down in order in the 6th. Now it's time for the Blue Jays to get something going against Alex Wood. It'll be Pompey, Travis, and Donaldson when we come back. Braves, and he has been a big part of this organization. He was the third base coach under Bobby Cox for a long time. This is his 5th season as manager. Take a look at the last 5 seasons, and they have been hovering around 90 wins, up and down. 96 wins 2 years ago, and they won the division. They dropped down to 79. That prompted the front office to make some dramatic changes. They have high standards here with the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, tear it down and then try to build it back up. 89 wins each of the last 4 seasons, making the playoffs 3 times. The Braves did. That was their worst season since 2008 last year, and they're trying to avoid back-to-back losing years since 1989 and 1990. And if you know anything about baseball, 1989, 1990 were the last 2 years the Braves were not very good. After that, they have taken off.
They went from 65 wins in 1990 to 94 wins in 91. And then in 92, they jumped to 98 wins, and they lost World Series in back-to-back years. Pompey bunts it, but it's popped up, and Pierzynski makes the catch. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Abreu, his home run number 3 for the season. He's now driven in 7 runs. And Anibal Sanchez, 3 1/3, 9 runs on 9 hits, and that boosted his ERA to 7.71. Ouch. Chris Sale has allowed just 3 hits and a single run through his 3 innings of work. Top of the order, Devin Travis bounces this ball over the third baseman into left field. He's getting the go-ahead. He is going to be shut down, and I tell you what, there's not a better shortstop than Andrelton Simmons. He knew exactly that ball wasn't going to go far, so he chased it down from his position at short.
Oh, my goodness. We saw a play similar to this in spring training when the Blue Jays played the Braves, where he went way in the left field to catch a pop-up. This is baseball instinct. You see him on the top of your screen there. The ball's over the third baseman's head, and he knows that this turf is very slow. Look at him get to the ball, and in one motion, get it back into second base, holding Devin Travis to a single. Takes one quick look at the left fielder, see where he is, and then gets it back in. And double plays, 4 of them already. That's why you get double plays, when you keep that runner at first base.
And that's how you win a platinum glove. That signifies the best defensive player in the league, and he won it in 2013. That had double written all over it. Boy, what a play. I mean, how many shortstops make that play? They concede, hey, that's 2, a leadoff double, no big deal. But Simmons never gave up on that ball, stayed with it, and kept Travis.
Sprinted. He knows this turf, playing on it for a couple of days now. He knew that ball wasn't going to get down into the corner. Wow.
Well, what's that do for your pitching? Keeps the double play in order, and Woods had 4 double plays turned behind him already. Fly ball into center, but Maven has a bead on it. Travis going back to tag at first, but Maven gets it back in quickly. Now there's 2 outs.
Make a grand entrance during the DIY expert sale, only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Jose Bautista 0 for 2 so far this afternoon. Atlanta has a 4-0 lead. Up. Near second base, Simmons calls for it, and he makes the catch. Bautista's retired. The inning is over. Andrelton Simmons, the Braves' 25-year-old shortstop, has 2 Gold Gloves already, and this is a good reason why he wins them. He chased that ball down in left to keep Travis to a long single.
Get the feeling that tomorrow would be the day. It is Jose Bautista bobblehead day for the first 20,000 fans that arrive at the Rogers Center. 107 start against the Braves. For tickets, go to BlueJays.com. And you know, Jose has managed to rise to these occasions before, and seeing 20,000 bobbleheads may help.
Bouncing ball, Tolleson cuts in front of Travis to make the play. Kelly Johnson's retired. R.A. Dickey's having a pretty good day. He's allowed just 3 hits. Jose Bautista is having a tough homestand. He has gone 0 for 3 today. Blue Jays have 5 hits but no runs, and some of the problems there have been the fact that they have grounded into 4 double plays.
Yeah, 2 outs with 1 pitch. That's why Alex Wood is still in there and still on cruise control right now. R.A. has pitched well. He's walked a couple, yes, and you mentioned the 3 hits, 2 of them leaving the ballpark, but he has 6 strikeouts. His pitch count is right at 100.
Sharply hit up the middle past the diving Tolleson. Andrelton Simmons with his first hit. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Man, does that look good. Lining up for a little bit of the beef, make a sandwich, have a good day at the old ballpark. Bouncing ball, Valencia. Back to first, not in time. Maven hustled down the line to stay alive.
Fans thought that they turned 2 on this play. Good turn by Travis at second base. Maven can run. 2-hopper right to Valencia at third base. And Taylor made nothing wrong. Blue Jays did nothing wrong right here. Maven can run.
Maven hustling down the line. It is bang bang at first. You can see that foot came down on the bag before the ball got to Encarnacion. So he stays out of the double play. That keeps the inning alive for Alberto Callaspo. If you're wondering about Callaspo, yeah, he's a switch hitter, but he chooses to bat right-handed against R.A. Dickey. Dickey's tough to run on. He is quick to the plate. He's got a quick move. He picked up Jacoby Ellsbury in his first start against the Yankees. Yankees were contending it was a balk move. but he picked off Ellsbury in the first inning of his first start this season.
Oh, that was a beautiful move. He knew he was going. Fired over there quickly to pick him off. It's a running situation, I think.
Especially now with 2 strikes, go ahead and take a gamble. R.A. Dickey's thrown 103 pitches, so Colt Hines is loosening up. We're in the 7th. Sharply hit. Valencia will go to second. That'll end the inning. R.A. Dickey with a good start. He's allowed just 4 hits, but 2 home runs, and the Braves have a 4-0 lead for Alex Wood.
Find everything you need for the Stanley Cup playoffs and the Toronto Blue Jays. Shop tsc.ca. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. Certainly want to get all geared up for the Stanley Cup playoffs, and there's all sorts of colorful Blue Jay hats down there in the Jays shop, so make sure you check it out. You never want to be caught off guard without the latest in Blue Jays gear, and there is a wide variety, that's for sure. Blue Jays need some base runners, and they need to score. Alex Wood shutting them out on just 5 hits.
He hasn't struck out a batter, Alex Wood. He has made the Blue Jays hit the ball. They have had a runner on in every inning. They just cannot push him across.
Well, he's only thrown 77 pitches because he hasn't had those strikeouts. They've turned 4 double plays behind him. It's off the end of the bat. That's not going anywhere. Maben is there, 1 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Chris Bryant made his major league debut yesterday against James Shields and the Padres. He went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Kind of a historic day for major league debuts. We've been hearing about Chris Bryant all spring long. 1955 on April 17th, Roberto Clemente made his debut. 1951, a fellow named Mickey Mantle debuted with the Yankees on April 17th. And of course on April 17th, 1947, Jackie Robinson got his first big league hit.
Did you hear Joe Maddon's comment after the game about Chris Bryant? They asked him about him. He said, well, obviously we brought him up for his defense after his offensive performance.
His first play, he turned a 5-4-3 double play, and then he snared a line drive that looked like an extra base hit. What do you think about them putting Chris Bryant in the cleanup spot first game in the big leagues after all the attention?
That wasn't right. For me, I didn't think that was right. It was almost like, hey, I know we sent you down for the first 10 days or so of the season. We're going to bring you up and we're going to put you in the 4-hole. Sorry about having to send you down. That's a lot of pressure for a young player.
Danny Valencia hammers it to left. Johnny Gomes will play it off the wall. Valencia's headed for second to throw is offline, and Danny Valencia's having a day. 3 for 3 with a pair of doubles against Alex Wood.
And he's also thrown in a stolen base this afternoon. That time, just a couple of feet from knocking his first home run out of the ballpark. Looked like a breaking ball. Yep, spinning curveball from Alex Wood, and Valencia jumps all over it. Gomes thought about going back there to make the catch, the left fielder of the Braves, but then backed off and hit off the top of the wall. And Valencia hustles into second base with a double.
Russell Martin, the catcher, 0 for 2. Valencia has half of the Blue Jays' hits. They have 6. He's got 3 of them. No one is throwing for the Braves. And why would they? Ball and a strike to the Jays catcher. The Braves will send Shelby Miller to the mound tomorrow. When you talk about a couple of young, good-looking starting pitchers, Daniel Norris will go to the hill for the Jays. Shelby Miller pitched here last year for the Cardinals and threw a 3-hit shutout on Sunday to wrap up the series for St. Louis. Daniel Norris, I asked him, what you going to be doing tomorrow, thinking that tomorrow was Monday, the off day. He said, I hope I go 7.
Would you lose track of the days?
I did.
Yeah, go 7 and get a W on top of it. He's a bright young man and a pretty talented pitcher.
Yeah, we haven't really seen what he has to offer just yet. Russell Martin shoots it down the right side. That's going to drop fair. Valencia is coming home, and they'll cut the ball off. Russell Martin has put the Jays on the board.
Hit a couple of home runs in yesterday's ball game. 1 to center, 1 to right center field, and that's his stroke. When he's at the dish, take what the pitcher gives you. If he throws the ball down and away, don't try and pull it. That's his stroke right there. Stays on top of that one and lines it into right field. Valencia is going to score as Kelly Johnson comes up throwing, and the ball is cut off. Blue Jays are on the board.
Martin with 6 RBI now. Valencia's had a big day at the plate, 3 for 3 with a run scored. He's also picked up a stolen base. Up on the infield. Freddie Freeman, the first baseman, comes over near the mound, and Pilar's returned. Foul ball into the seats here at Rogers Center, and that fan didn't get the ball, got soaked by his beer. Somebody next door to him got the baseball, and he's got to get a new beer.
Bad form.
Yeah, come on.
You got a beer in one hand, you can't catch it with 2 hands. Look at the can, it's all bent up.
That's why they have cup holders here at Rogers Center. Put your cup down, put your beer down, and then grab the baseball. 2 outs. Tollison is 1 for 2.
Well, they won't hit into a double play this inning. Boy, that has been something that has really hurt them. They ended the third, the first, the third, the fourth, and the fifth with double play ground outs.
Tolleson drives it to the alley, and this is trouble. Martin's around second. He's headed for third. He's being waved home. Tolleson's turning for third. Here's the relay throw. Not in time. Boy, they just barely escaped, allowing Tolleson to come home. That ball hit right at the top of the wall, about 6 inches from going into the seats.
And that would have been another run for the Blue Jays. Steve Tolleson, every time John Gibbons puts him into the lineup, he seems to do something for them. Blue Jays are starting to go to right field. He crushed that ball into the gap in right center field. He's going to have to score that runner from first base. And watch when this ball hits the turf, hits the wall, and it just stays there. It makes Cameron Maybin go a little bit farther to get it. That's going to allow Martin to score. And the throw to third base almost skipped into the stands for another run.
Andrelton Simmons threw a seed over toward third, and it skipped and hit the top of the wall. It's a 2-run game. Dalton Pompey fights it off. Valencia and Tolleson have 5 hits. Tolleson picks up his second RBI with his first triple of the season. Dalton Pompey in the hole, 0-2. Up the middle. Simmons near second. Not in time. The run scores. Tolleson across the plate as Pompey legged it out. Simmons has that cannon for an arm, but Dalton Pompey busted it up the first base line. Looks like the Braves are waiting to check the review.
Here comes Freddie.
To appeal it.
You know, the field has been playing so slow here, and that ball took a long time to get to Simmons. That's going to be awfully close. Awfully close.
Boy, that is difficult to tell without the benefit of sound, where an umpire can hear the ball slap into the glove and the foot hit the base. Wood saying, yeah, we got him, and then couldn't believe the safe sign. Tolleson scores on the play. So as it stands on the field, it's a base hit for Pompey. The ruling on the field is safe, and the Atlanta Braves have challenged the call on the field.
This is when you want to challenge right here, when it costs you a run.
Cost you a run. You got to challenge this one. Boy, you could hear the heavy thud of the foot on the base, but you couldn't hear the pop of the ball into the glove. And you're right, Simmons had to come after that ball a little bit further than he expected.
Yeah, because it plays so slow here. That's what I meant the other day when I was talking about the field. It's going to get you base hits, and it's going to cost you hits. This one right here, he's in the air. When is it in the glove? That's when you have to determine, when is it in his glove? And with his foot there, it's in the glove. Is he down on there? There's got to be conclusive evidence
to turn over the call. Yeah, the Blue Jays have this one in their favor because he's ruled safe on the field, and they have to have conclusive evidence to overturn it. And that's so close, it's hard to imagine they could overturn this play. Tim Leibert was right on top of it. He had a good look at it. Of course, he is right there. He can hear that foot bang onto the bag. They have their ruling, and the ruling on the field will stand. It's a 4-3 game. So Freddie Gonzalez will make a pitching change here. Pompey drives in the third run of the inning. They have knocked Alex Wood out of the game. He will leave with 2 outs in the 7th. His team is up by a run. Brandon Cuniff coming out of the bullpen when we come back to face the top of the order. Wood out of the game. The Blue Jays have touched him up for 9 hits. He had the benefit of those 4 double plays. This is Brandon Cuniff out of their bullpen. This will be his 7th appearance of the season. He was originally signed by the Marlins, and he signed with Braves as a minor league free agent in 2013.
Interesting. Picked in the 27th round in 2010. And it was released after half a season. Spent some time in the Frontier League, independent ball, and wouldn't you know it, he was with the Marlins. The Braves signed him. They saw him, they liked him, and he made his major league debut against the Marlins.
So many teams are dying for any kind of pitching that if you can pitch and get released, why not go to an independent league and you might get another opportunity?
Yeah, just keep pitching, and that's what he did. Braves scouts saw him. They signed him.
Cuniff, he didn't really come to much of a stop that last pitch, and Pompey at first, he's got speed to steal a bag. Ball and a strike to Devin Travis. Into shallow center. Simmons back, and oh my! Andrelton Simmons has put on a show, and it's a one-man Gold Glove show at short. No one catches these little flares in the outfield better than Andrelton Simmons. Highlight film for sure.
upgrade, courtesy of TD. While over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, our fans from Camp Uchigues all having a great time. What a game, Buck.
Terrific game as the Blue Jays have scored 3 runs in their half of the 7th, and it's now 4-3 game. Braves have only 4 hits, but they've hit 2 home runs. And now it'll be the left-hander Colt Hines taking over for R.A. Dickey.
Yeah, and the damage has been the middle of the lineup. Hines brought in now to slow down the left-handers. Here's what he has done in 4 games. Last worked 3 days ago. Through a third of an inning, gave up a walk and a hit to the Tampa Bay Rays, trying to slow down Markakis and Freeman.
Give him a different look. Blue Jays haven't retired Markakis in this series. One and 2 to Nick Markakis, the Braves right fielder.
Going to have to move that fastball around, and that's what he's doing to Markakis that time. Just 89 miles an hour, and he's able to get it right in on the hands of Nick. Markakis choking up now.
He is on fire. He choked up, took a short stroke, and comes up with another hit. That's his 5th hit of the series. The drive of the game is presented by the 2015 Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year.
Freddie Freeman homered in yesterday's game. He's going to do it this afternoon. Knuckleball is knocked out of the ballpark here. This is in the 3rd inning. His 4th home run of the season already for Freeman. Freddie last year hit 18 home runs. Drove in 78. He's off to a great start this year.
First pitch just off the plate outside. 1-1 to Freddie Freeman. Freeman has an 8-game hit streak against the Blue Jays, 15 for 32. That's a .469 average with 3 homers and 7 ribbies. And he carves that one through the left side of the infield. 16 for 33. R.A. Dickey goes 7 innings, gives up just 4 hits, 4 earned runs. Those walks were a problem as Markakis walked in the 3rd ahead of the Freddie Freeman 2-run home run. Dickey gave up 2 homers. Colt Hines gives up a couple of base hits to left-handed batters. He'll turn things over to the bullpen. Liam Hendricks coming out for the Jays. Hendricks pitched to one batter in the game last night. Got Chris Johnson, and that's who he's going to be assigned to here. First and second, nobody out in the eighth. The Braves have a one-run lead.
He finished off the eighth last night with that fly ball against Chris Johnson. He's pitched better. Coming out of the bullpen, he's letting it go, and his fastball's a little bit better. His slider's a little bit sharper. Trying to clean up this. 2 on and nobody out. Markakis and Freeman have killed the Blue Jays' first 2 games.
They've been on base 14 of their 18 plate appearances. That's exactly why they brought Nick Markakis into this lineup. Chris Johnson has a sac fly. He is 0 for 2. He drove in the first run of the game with that sac fly in the first. Well, you come out of that bullpen, you better throw strikes. You want to keep the information at a minimum.
Yeah, and you better throw quality strikes. That was a fastball. Hit 93 on the radar gun. Put it where it was, away, where Chris Johnson couldn't reach it.
Markakis and Freeman, they've been on base all time they've been here. 14 times they have reached. Johnson to center. Markakis goes back to tag. Pompey makes the catch. 1 down.
Make a grand entrance during the DIY expert sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
RBI situation for A.J. Pierzynski. You better be careful on the first pitch. He is looking for one pitch to hit hard.
Well, he got a fastball upstairs, but he was late on it and fouled it into Martin's glove.
A little something extra from Liam Hendricks there. 94 with that fastball.
Markakis at third, Freddie Freeman at first. Pierzynski quickly behind 0-2. What a good block by Martin. He saves a run, but the runner moves to second, Freeman. And now the Braves are out of that double play possibility. The Blue Jays are going to have to draw the infield in.
Yeah, and you're going to have to figure out, do you want to come all the way in or are you going to go halfway? On this turf, remember, it's a slow turf. You might want to bring the left side in.
The right side, the ball would generally be hit harder and get to the infielders quicker. So you can play a little deeper. 1-2 to Pierzynski. What a pitch. Boy, he buried that slider down and in and strikes out A.J. Pierzynski.
That's exactly where you want that slider with 2 strikes. You don't have to throw it for a strike. Make it look like a fastball. You can see him get on top of that one and drive it underneath the bat of Pierzynski. Expand the strike zone. Big strikeout.
Russell Martin out to talk with Liam Hendricks. Johnny Gomes is the hitter. Just a little reinforcement of the plan of attack for Johnny Gomes. Gomes facing Hendricks for the first time. Hendricks trying to keep it a one-run game. 2 big runs out there. Markakis at third, Freeman at second. They both singled off Colt Hines to start the inning. Hendricks may have found a home in the bullpen.
Yes, he looks very comfortable out there. He's got that arm where he can throw a lot. He had just 1/3 of an inning yesterday, so he's fresh.
96. The benefits of that let it rip mentality. $34,743 here at Rogers Center. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 8th, it'll be Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnacion. In and retires all 3 batters, a fly out and 2 strikeouts. He keeps it a 1-run game. The slider gets Pierzynski, the slider gets Gomes. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn.
At nextissue.ca/baseball and get an extended 60-day free trial. One day we may read, Buck, about that 96-mile-an-hour fastball we saw from Liam Hendricks.
Barry, that was a big pitch. Hendricks got the bat sped up with Johnny Gomes, and then he was able to strike him out on the slider. A couple of big strikeouts. Now the Braves go to their setup man, Jim Johnson. And this is a tough spot for Johnson. Donaldson, Bautista, Encarnacion.
And the Blue Jays were rude to him yesterday. An inning, 3 hits, a couple of runs. He did pick up a save, or excuse me, a hold at yesterday's ball game. Hard sinker, hard curveball. That's what you're going to feature.
Donaldson with a half-hearted swing. It's now ball and a strike. Johnson's out to a good start.
Throwing like he did a couple of years ago. 8 strikeouts and just 1 walk.
Johnson's body language will tell you he thought that was a strike.
So did A.J. Pierzynski behind the plate. Josh Donaldson's been swinging hot bat, going back through the middle.
Bouncing ball. Simmons knocks it down. He won't have a play. That's how the Blue Jays start the 8th. Donaldson's been on base 3 times. 2 hits, a walk. And he represents the tying run. That's that sinking fastball.
There it is right there. He pulls it. He puts it in a good spot. Still can't get it by Andrelton Simmons, the shortstop. But he will be aboard, representing that tying run.
Johnson gave up a home run in his appearance to Russell Martin last night. This is Jose Bautista. I mentioned the home run because that's the first home run Johnson has allowed to the Blue Jays. This is his 41st appearance. High and deep and make it 2. Bautista has given the Jays the lead.
You know, Buck, you could tell that Jose was looking for something on the inner half. The way he took that first pitch, he was starting to open up. That leg was pulling towards left field. And then he got the pitch that he wanted, cleared the hips, fired a ball into the seats. He has that flair, doesn't he?
His 3rd home run of the season erases a 1-run deficit and gives the Jays the lead. Encarnacion pulls it. Simmons deep hit short. Encarnacion's retired.
Look at the front side from Bautista. Watch him clear it with the leg opens up and those quick hits. Speeds the bat. And he crushes that ball into the second deck.
Jose had a frustrating day with a double play and 2 pop-ups, and that will make everybody forget about that day. How about Danny Valencia? 4 for 4 for Danny Valencia.
More playing time. Lefty, righty, it doesn't matter. Valencia, 4 knocks this afternoon.
Two singles, 2 doubles for Valencia. Russell Martin had an RBI single his last time up. 4th time Danny Valencia has collected 4 hits in a game. And it's really tough when you're an extra man.
Yeah. Last played. Got a start against CC Sabathia. That was the 2nd game of the season. 3rd game of the season.
There goes Valencia. Martin will chop it foul. Danny had a stolen base in the 2nd. Liam Hendricks retired the 3 batters he was assigned. Now the youngster Miguel Castro loosening up. What a job by Hendricks. He inherited runners at 1st and 2nd and nobody out. And Chris Johnson struck out Pierzynski and Gomes. Just in case, Danny Valencia didn't steal bags very often, but he got 1 in the 2nd.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to play hit and run on that 1-0 count. And that was fouled off by Martin. Don't expect him to run right here.
Bouncing ball. Second for one. That's 5 double plays the Blue Jays have grounded into today, but it's all academic. We'll go to the 9th with a Blue Jays 5-4 lead because of that man, Jose Bautista. A no-doubter. 5-4 Jays. We're going to the 9th. Dickey pitched very well. Dickey had allowed just 3 hits when he left. Now it's over to the bullpen, and it's Miguel Castro looking for his 3rd save of the season.
Colt Hines, Liam Hendricks, and now Miguel Castro. Here are the numbers: 2 for 2 in saves this year. He hasn't given up a run yet. Ryan Goins will come in and play shortstop here in the 9th. Castro pitched in yesterday's ball game for the Blue Jays. Pitched the 9th inning and gave up a walk.
Dickey went 7 innings, allowed 4 runs on 4 hits. And Castro falls behind 2-0. Kelly Johnson, the right fielder, has got 0 for 3 to this point. There's a deep fly ball to center. Pompey at the wall. He's got room, jumps, and it's gone. Kelly Johnson has tied it up. First batter here in the 9th.
That is the first run that Castro gives up. Kelly Johnson, we've seen that a couple of times when he played for the Blue Jays. 2-0, he's sitting all over a fastball. And he sends it out of here. Probably the deepest part of the ballpark. Fastball down the middle, that's right where he likes it. His hands come over and he drives it out of here. It looked like Pompey had a shot at it, but he came up empty.
Kelly Johnson's 2nd home run of the season has tied it up. 3rd home run the Braves have hit here this afternoon. Simmons pops it into center. This one's going to stay in the yard. Pompey makes the catch.
Make a grand entrance during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Top of the order. Cameron Maiden takes a strike. For Kelly Johnson, that's his 14th career home run here at Rogers Center. Of course, he played for the Blue Jays in 2011, 2012. There's a good slider. 0-2. Kelly Johnson, a very good fastball hitter. Castro strikes out Maven. That inside slider does the trick. Now there are 2 down. Maven strikes out for a 3rd time this afternoon.
3 pitches. It's on top of that one. He's got a good slider. It's a little bit inconsistent at times, but it's a great complement to his fastball. He has hit 98 this afternoon.
Alberto Callaspo batting left-handed for the first time today. He hit right-handed all afternoon against R.A. Dickey. Changeup at 88 bounced in the dirt. It's 2-0. Sharply hit through the right side into right field. Callaspo's aboard with a 2-out single. Pinch runner into the ball game at first base is Eric Young Jr. He takes over for Callaspo. It's a 5-5 game. Callaspo's 2nd hit of the afternoon, and Eric Young Jr. can run.
Yeah, and they didn't bring him in to lock him down at first base. He's going to try and get himself in a scoring position.
That's how you guard against the stolen base. Throw strike 1. Eliminates the number of pitches that Young has to run on. Markakis, another perfect day at the plate. Now Young's going to move up. He read it perfectly. Once he saw that ball headed in the dirt, he took off for second.
Looked like it was a changeup from Castro. He's bounced a couple of those changeups already. And Young at first base, you could see the flight of the ball when you're over at first base. Reads it perfectly. He is in scoring position now for Markakis.
Markakis drives it to left. Pilar hustling back. He'll get there and makes the catch. They retire Markakis for the first time in the series, but the Braves tied it up. Miguel Castro gives up his first run of his young career. Former Blue Jay Kelly Johnson goes deep, his 2nd home run of the season, makes it a 5-5 game. Save of his young career. He was in protecting a 5-4 lead, gave up a leadoff home run to Kelly Johnson. This is Luis Avion. Avilan, who pitched in the game yesterday. Avilan worked an inning and struck out 2.
Yeah, lots of zeros. 0 earned run average, zip records. Righties haven't gotten a hit off of him. He fades that changeup to them. He's just got enough fastball to get it by him. Other defensive changes for the Braves.
Right fielder Kelly Johnson moves in to play third. He's played third a lot. Eric Young Jr. entered the game as a pinch runner. He is in left, and Johnny Gomes moves from left to right. Chris Johnson is out of the game. Kevin Pillar hits it to right. Johnny Gomes over near the line and makes the catch. So Ryan Goins will bat with 1 out. He came into the game defensively in the top of the 9th. Steve Tollefson had a great day getting a start at shortstop. Tollefson finishes up 2 for 3. He had an RBI triple and scored a run in that 3-run 7th inning. How about Danny Valencia and Steve Tollefson? They went 6 for 7 getting the start because Alex Wood, the left-hander, was on the mound.
Stay hot. They want some more playing time. And both of them have tough jobs.
Being extra players, you really have to work twice as hard to stay sharp. And everybody wants to be a regular. Goins is in the 8th spot in the batting order. Dalton Pompey will be next. Bounce toward first. Goins hustling up the line. Bang, bang at first. And he is out with the head first slide. Freeman shoveled quickly to Avilan, who was there waiting on the toss.
You be the judge. Boy, if he could have got his right hand on the bag. Watch the right hand. Looked like the right hand might have been there before, but on that replay.
They're going to have a look at it. It is so close, and here we are in the 9th in a 5-5 game, so the umpire's going to take a look at it. Chris Jackman is the home plate umpire. That's Tom Hallion, who's umping at first. We have an unusual situation on this crew in that there are 2 crew chiefs here. Tom Hallion is a crew chief, and Joe West over at third is a crew chief. Well, you just heard the reaction of the crowd here at Rogers Center as they saw the replay up on the scoreboard. And here is the play again. Avilan steps for that base, and he appears to be out. So from what we have seen on that replay, and our truck does a great job of giving us the best angle possible. So they have the decision, and the umpire, Tom Hallion, calls Goins out to play on the field stands. So the Blue Jays lose their challenge now. And Dalton Pompey, let's don't forget about Dalton Pompey in the 7th. He had an infield single and drove in a run on a bang-bang play at first, and that was challenged. But the ruling on the field stood up.
Yeah, first of all, Tollefson getting to third base with the triple when he drove that ball to right field, and then Pompey hustling out of the box from the right side also. Remember, it was against the left-hander Wood. He had to come from the right-hander batter's box, hustling down that line, beat that throw, scored a run for the Blue Jays.
Took a good cut on the 2-0 pitch. It was a changeup.
That's why righties have not got a hit off of him yet this year. comes another one.
Now it's 3-1. Top of the order, Devin Travis will be next. Ball 4. The winning run is aboard. Don't forget, lots of Stanley Cup hockey action going on. Travis, with a single in the 6th, extended his hit streak to 7 straight games. Bo Porter moving the defense around. Fly ball to right. Johnny Gomes moves to his left, makes the catch. The Blue Jays get a runner, leave him on base. We're headed to extra innings in this 5-5 game. Brett Cecil coming out of the pen. This will be his 6th appearance of the season. Cecil was charged with 3 runs on 3 hits and 2/3 of an inning in last night's game, and he was strapped with the loss.
Courtesy of this guy right here, Freddie Freeman, with a runner aboard, high fastball, and he got all of that one to right field. Stayed in there against the left-hander. Popped that ball out of the ballpark. That made it a 3-run game. The Blue Jays would score 2 more to lose by 1. So if you're a reliever, I think after you give up a home run to a guy the night before, it'd be great to get a second chance the next day, and that's what Brett Cecil has this afternoon.
Same matchup as he faced in the 8th last night. Misses with the first pitch. Freeman walked, homered, ground out, and singled. Waved at that off-speed pitch. Freeman, with 2 more hits this afternoon, has extended his personal hit streak against the Jays to 8 straight games. During that 8-game hit streak, he's hit 16 for 33, just under 500. That's a pretty good hit streak.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
With some damage too. Some home runs.
3 home runs during that streak. 5-5 ball game. Freeman Peterson tossed the bat aside, just almost tossed it all the way over to the dugout, and he will get his foothold once again.
Yeah, one more time. He's not doing that to show up the umpire. Thought that breaking ball was inside.
Raymond can't believe it. He didn't like the first one and really didn't like the second one. Cecil liked it, his first out of the 10th.
So you come back. You get a second chance the next day. Martin sets up on the outside part of the plate, and he hits his glove. Freeman again thinks it's outside, but it's a strikeout.
Chase Peterson took over at second base after Callaspo was lifted in favor of the pinch runner. Kevin Seitzer, Freddie Gonzalez, and Seitzer, of course, knows Cecil. He was the Blue Jays hitting coach last season. Peterson picked up his first career RBI in the game last night. Came on his first career triple. That's that slider, little cut fastball that finds the outside corner.
Making it tough on the lefties. Now finish him off.
There's a base hit into left field. Peterson gets a hit in his first at bat of the afternoon.
Another breaking ball. That time it stayed up, and Peterson hits it the other way. He is a threat to steal at first base. He had some big stolen base seasons when he was a minor leaguer in the San Diego organization. That's a big lead.
A.J. Pierzynski fouls off the first pitch. Peterson has one stolen base. He's also caught once. Check that. He is 1 for 1. He wants to see Cecil's move. That's why he's got that big lead.
One-way lead over there at first base. He's leaning back towards the bag as soon as Brett picks up that front leg.
Johnny Gomes, he hit a home run off Cecil last night as a pinch hitter. It's 0 for 4 this afternoon. There he goes, and Cecil goes to first. There's the tag by Goins. Terry Pendleton, the first base coach, is indicating that it should be a balk. He is livid. He's hollered at the dugout to challenge it, but Pendleton, you can see how upset he is. He thought Cecil made a step toward home and threw to first. Encarnacion dives and throws it to Cecil, who gets there ahead of Pierzynski. Well, the pickoff was big. Cecil gets out of the 10th. The Blue Jays once again will have the meat of their order coming up. It's a 5-5 game. Encarnacion does a good job to snare the ball and then hits Cecil on the run to end the inning.
Following today's Jays game, coming up next on Sportsnet 1, it's the Orioles and Red Sox. Right now on CBC, the Red Wings and Lightning play game 2 of their best of 7, with Detroit leading 1-0. Wild and Blues on Sportsnet as we speak. Tonight on CBC, it's the Penguins and Rangers game 2 of that series, while on Sportsnet, it's the Jets and the Ducks. But right now, Buck, we have ourselves quite a ball game here in the bottom of the 10th.
They sure did, Barry. We're in extra innings, and this is Sugar Ray Morimon. He is on in relief in the 10th. It's a 5-5 game. Morimon making his second big league appearance. He is the cousin of Julio Teheran. They're both from Cartagena, Colombia.
And Sugar Ray is his name, named after Sugar Ray Leonard, the boxer. Fame. He was an international free agent signing by the Royals back in 2006. Fastball, low 90s. And a good curveball and a good changeup.
Morimon signed originally with the Royals. He's got a tough part of the Blue Jays lineup to deal with here in the 10th. High and deep and way back at the wall. Goodbye, home run. Josh Donaldson has walked off the Braves.
You know, the Blue Jays have had their share of walk-off wins, but not a lot of them on a walk-off home run. They got one last year by Edwin Encarnacion against the Brewers, and they get their first one of 2015 courtesy of Josh Donaldson.
Good game all around for the Blue Jays as Donaldson picks up his third hit of the game. His third home run. He got his first 2 last night. His third home run of the series. But overall, Blue Jays really had a team effort with Valencia and Donaldson having a big day, and Donaldson capped it all off.
There it is right there. The changeup. Told you he's got a good changeup. He tried to throw one by Donaldson, and he got the higher leg kick and that long drive to left field for the walk-off home run. How about the Blue Jays? Never say die attitude. They fell behind early and came back and won this one.
The Blue Jays score 6 runs on 13 hits, hit 2 more home runs, and they didn't have a strikeout all afternoon. Let's check in with Barry, who's standing by on the field.
Josh, it's Saturday night. You did not want to have to stay here too long. Talk about what a game that was and your home run to end it.
Well, I mean, it was just one of those games where we kind of got down early and we kept fighting and, trying to hang in there. And, early on, Wood was doing a good job getting some double play outs. And, we turned the corner there late in the game.
Let's have a look at your home run now. Maybe you can describe what you saw at the plate. We're going to see it here in just a second.
Well, he started me off first pitch fastball for a ball. He ended up throwing me a changeup, up in the zone, and was able to, hit it well enough for it to carry out.
You hear hitters talking about being in a zone, and you had squared up a lot of balls that came very close, but have you felt like you've been in that zone for a while?
Yeah, I've been feeling.
We knew that was coming. All right, we'll let you go clean off, okay? Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, there's Josh Donaldson. Got himself a little shaving cream in the face, courtesy of Steve Tollefson. And as a good teammate, Steve Tollefson is cleaning it off. Back to you, Buck.
Thank you, Barry. Josh Donaldson with a nice walk-off home run, his 4th walk-off hit of his career. Now let's go to Blue Jays Central. Here's Jamie and Greg.